Hi, I'm Tiffany Coral. This is EDL 856, Module 1, and this is my personal intro. So, a few things about myself. I'm from Bedford, Pennsylvania. This is a small rural area that I live in. I've lived here my whole life. I'm 27, been married for 3 years. We have a son. He's just turned 1 this month. His name's Easton. And we also have a fur baby. Her name is Finley. We love them to death. They're both spoiled to pieces, and they are the center of me and my husband's world. Things that we enjoy doing are vacationing at the beach. Any beach will do. Country music is one of our favorite things to listen to. We like to go to concerts. Of course, this year we weren't able to go to any. Um, and we also like to explore the outdoors. We go four-wheeler riding. We have a lot of property that we spend a lot of time on in our free time. My work background, I am a fourth grade teacher currently at Chestnut Ridge Middle School. Our population per grade level is around 100 to 125 students. We have about 50% either free or reduced lunch population. Before teaching fourth grade, I taught alternative education for a year and was also the after school site director at Chestnut Ridge. I taught preschool. All combined, I have around 6 years of teaching experience. The content information regarding communication. So at Chestnut Ridge, we have several different forms of communication we use based on the group. So staff or administration to staff, we use email. We use Zoom meetings, especially this year with everything going on with COVID-19. We use our phones, and sometimes we do receive handouts at an in-person meeting or through our mailboxes in the district office. From staff to students, we use Google Classrooms at the elementary level. The high school level, they use Moodle. We use Zoom again, especially now with the world. And we also have agendas. If you're familiar with them, it's just almost like a yearly calendar. We can write notes back and forth to students, reminders, even communicate with the parents that way. And also within their agenda, it has our district policies and guidelines and disciplinary code of conduct. Um, Communication from staff to parents. I use an app called Remind. Once the parents or guardians sign up for that, they receive a text message or email depending on what they choose. I use this for homework reminders. I use this for important dates or changes, especially this year. I'll be using it more probably than I ever have in the past. I use this just for brief communication if I want to tell the parent, yes, your child had a great day today, or they forgot their lunchbox. I'm here till 5 if you want to come pick it up. Different things like that. It's been very beneficial, and a lot of the parents really enjoy that Remind app as well. I also use email for those who are not signed up with the Remind. In years past, I have about a 75% of guardians or parents that do sign up for the Remind, so I typically use that. And then also, obviously, we use our phone to call back and forth. Administration to parents, we have an all-call system. Basically, it's just calls every parent or guardian to let them know if there's a snow day, if there's an early dismissal. We currently have used it at least once a day this past 2 weeks as we're trying to get school started back in person. And Pennsylvania, we have an ever-changing policies with Department of Health, and our governor, he is changing every day pretty much what is allowed and not allowable within the classroom. We also have a district Facebook page as well as a web page that's updated daily. They do pass out handouts, and we also use the news and newspaper for beginning of the year homerooms, as well as on the news when we have snow days or cancellations. For the community, they can look at our Facebook page, our school web page, and then again the news or newspaper. Provided versus purchased. All of the mentioned communication methods are purchased or free to Chestnut Ridge School District. I, as a teacher, have not purchased any forms of that communication. The Remind app, which I use the most, that is classroom based, but it is free to use for anyone. I don't pay, and the school district does not pay for that app. Things that the school district has paid for is the all-call system. Zoom meetings, because we fall under a category of more than, I think it's 25 members or it's minutes of use. So the school does pay for the Zoom. They pay for the agendas yearly. They pay for Moodle at the high school, and they also pay to update and regulate our school webpage. Facebook and news platforms are obviously free for use as well. Unavailable tools. Currently, there's no actual communication tool that I feel that I'd like to use that I'm unable to, but I would like to be able to use the recording feature on Zoom meetings, but based on liability and legality issues, we as teachers cannot use that with students on Zoom meetings. But I think it would be beneficial for students who aren't able to access their Zoom to rewatch later. It could help with homework, and it could also help parents or other tutors who are assisting students, especially virtually. In the future, introductions, based on this module, I did really see how an introduction can make a large impact on how someone views you as a person. So I think in the future I'll try to start off by telling my story in more of a manner, or at least telling them what led me to becoming an administrator. So basically my prop would be, I think a huge problem that impacts many teachers' effectiveness in the classroom is students' behaviors. By getting to know the students on a personal level and their needs, I was able to break down these barriers in my classroom, which led me to becoming an administrator. I think that really does give off more of a personable and relatable introduction, and allows someone to really see your views and see why you do what you do. Being approachable, so with parents especially, typically we have a meet the teacher night. This year we are not doing that because of COVID-19, but that's the parents' first time seeing you maybe ever, or this current school year. So really giving that relatable and personable expression to them is a great way to start off the year. So basically saying, welcome to the new year. I'm Tiffany Coral. May I ask what your goals are for your child this coming school year? How can I help you and them reach those goals? Because as an administrator, that will be my number one concerns, is helping students achieve their goals and reaching success. And ultimately taking that time to be relatable and get to know my coworkers and staff, and that ultimately will build that sense of community that's necessary, not only from a communication standpoint, but also to create that overall healthy dynamic that you want and climate you want within your school district. And ultimately, no matter what your title is, if you're a doctor, you're a professor, be personable, because you never know who you're speaking with. Our current district policies regarding communication, we have a news media relations policy. It's number 911, and it just basically expresses the importance of having a reputable relationship with the local press, radio, and TV. Policy number 902, this tells faculty, again, the importance of having special releases with the media and when they're necessary to do so. Policy number 237 on electronic devices. This is This is targeted towards students, and it basically says that electronic devices, so that's cell phones, iPads, they are prohibited during school hours. The reason I included this one is because that is a form of communication that they could access the web page and our Facebook page on, but that is prohibited during the school day. Policy number 220, giving students their limits to expression and posting of materials on school grounds. Policy number 224, that's taking care of school property. So as students and faculty, we have Chromebooks or laptops, as well as other devices that you are responsible for taking proper care of those. So I do believe that I follow all of the district policies. There is no cut and dry policy on overall list of all of our communication devices, but those ones I think are closest to meeting the communication between staff, families, and the community. And the standard 5 on community and external leadership, component 5.3, is to understand and demonstrate the capacity to communicate through oral, written, and digital means within the larger organizational community and political context when advocating for the needs of their school and community. My standard correlation, this assignment, it just showed me how crucial introductions are and how important it is to have that open line of communication. Without that unique and honest, forthcoming introduction, you won't leave a lasting impression and you're easily forgotten. And as an administrator, that's the last thing you want to be. Relevant, this assignment, it was relevant to my learning because as a future administrator, I want to create that bond and memorable impression on not only the families and communities, but my staff as well. And my reflection from this module, this assignment influenced me as a future leader because it just showed me that introductions are very powerful and that I do want to leave a powerful impact and impression on all those who I am in contact with. Thank you.